We're going to Alpine after this.
Nice.
Well, my wife and kids.
Is Gary playing tonight?
Who?
Gary Wilkins.
I don't think they have a band on today, Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday,
Yeah, I think they
yeah.
only have bands on Fridays and Saturdays, right? I'm not sure.
I know.
Did they get their full liquor license back?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
Cause they were waiting for that.
they got that last month. The board of selectmen approved that the first Tuesday of last month, or was it the second? I can't remember. I know they approved it last month.
yeah, April. And then it takes a little bit for the state to finalize that as well, so.
It was the first Tuesday of last month because I was sitting right there when they did it.
Yeah, they do a good job. We'll stop right on the street.
They've started the process of hiring a new police chief again, I'm guessing.
No.
They formed
We
a,
created a task force, and their job is to evaluate what the best option is for the town. So they're gonna look at, first they're gonna establish like metrics on how we wanna evaluate moving forward, and then they're gonna evaluate the sheriff's department, they're gonna evaluate a potential police force in the same set as we had before, or a police force in a different way. You know, they get to decide different kinds of options they want that, maybe a shared system is sometimes kind of split, where we have police chief, but we still have a contract with the sheriff's department. There's a lot of different options, but the task force is gonna be investigating that and making a recommendation to the board, so.
okay,
And then the board will decide.
how's it going?
Hi, how you doing, Chris?
Good, how's it going?
Good. I just remembered I need to invite him.
The letters of home.
They're in your box.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was talking to you and she said she needs to email a letter.
No.
Oh, my brother, excuse me.
That's your brother, right?
Yes.
Okay, I was like, I don't think that.
No. Same last name.
You can't always assume.
That's true. Taking nowadays.
There's two folks in town. Seth and Dana Harsh. And they are delightful individuals, so
who,
I would happily be related to them, but I am not.
who's on that board or whatever?
The task force,
Yes, is
uh,
that what they're calling it, a task force?
yes, it's not a board or a commission, they have a very limited scope of work. To investigate this and make recommendations and disband.
So then the previous one was also disbanded,
The previous what?
board that they formed, or whatever it was that they formed for the last, the one that Carrie Ann was on.
That was a policy committee,
Oh, okay.
and their job was to sort of do ongoing review of different policies within the town. Yes, that one was disbanded. So the task force is consisting of Ellen Elliott,
I heard she was on this one. Is Rich on?
John McWilliams,
Who's that?
Mac,
Oh, Mac, yeah, I know Mac.
Mhm. and Peter Werlin is an alternate, and Michael Richter.
Who's that?
He works at Cooper's. And also the hotel.
Okay. That's it? 3 people?
And then Amanda and Mary Smith and Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rich Barrows is on?
No.
Okay.
Kathy will not be in attendance today.
Saw that.
Yeah, busy afternoon for me, but I was able to meet.
Glad you're here.
Me too.
Should be a very short meeting, so. I told Bridget she did not.
I'm Jeff Goldman.
Hi Jeff, I'm Chris Sanford.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I told Bridget she could take minutes remotely and we can stay.
Good, how are you?
Is she doing coming in?
Bridget, yeah.
Oh. I see
Hey,
her
welcome,
walking.
Jeff Goldman.
Hey,
Hi, Jeff.
Me too. I see her walking by.
Hi,
Okay, Jeff.
how are you, Alex?
Good, how are you?
Good. I just feel like there should be music when we start the meeting, you know?
Fine, maybe there can be.
It's a
Elevator,
whole new administration now.
Right. right. Elevator music?
Is that, well, that would be kind of appropriate. The
Right.
planning commission can be a bit dry, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's the first thing that came to mind for me at least.
Come up with a theme song for you guys. Every commission has its own theme song. That'd be fun.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, we could. Like we are next, next meeting.
Next meeting, yeah. Next agenda, you guys can vote on a theme song. What do you think, Christian? We're gonna develop a theme song for
Did Shane say there was coming?
who?
Shane?
Shane, we'll try to comment. Is Natasha coming?
She said she was. Maybe I buddy.
Planning committee game song, so.
Yes. That's gonna be on the next agenda.
About planning.
Give me a Texas fight song.
Yeah.
Give her a Texas song.
We do have a quorum, so.
All the board members should wait.
Except Kathy.
Oh, that's right. You can ignore the text I just sent you.
Hi, hello, welcome. Thank you.
Georgetown Planning Commission, it's Wednesday, May 21st, 2025 at 6:02. I'm gonna call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Sure. Alex Cordeal,
Here.
Christian Dixon,
Here.
Chris Sanford,
Here.
Kathy Haight. Jay Cooper.
Present. All right, the first thing on the agenda is the resignation of Georgia Kofed. She is now the town's police judge, so she's no longer serving on
Yeah, we
her.
have to approve the agenda first.
On the agenda, we have the resignation of Georgia Kofed and the consideration letters for Jeff Goldman, Shane Henry, and Natasha Jackson. And the approval of the minutes from March 19th. Do I have a motion to approve?
I have motion to approve.
Hold on, real
Do
quick.
I have a motion?
Jamie has withdrawn her letter, so we're amending the agenda in that regard.
I motion to approve with the amendment of taking Jamie off of the agenda.
All in favor? I second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. The resignation of Georgia Kofed. Does anybody have any questions about that? No. Okay.
You can't, you're just like allowed to be on one board, is that the correct thing?
Planning
well-
commission, DRC, you
Uh,
cannot serve on the board of selectmen and serve those commissions or
yeah,
serve on
okay,
both those commissions, because they're all voting bodies and the appeals for planning commission and DRC is board of selectmen, so. I don't think BPC either, they technically do have some application power, so.
cool.
I do believe that the board of selectmen encourages their members to be part of other boards though, that aren't.
The Business Promotion Commission has a representative from, an official representative from the commission, I'm sorry, from the selectmen. So they're not on the board, they are the selectman representative, which is a slightly different thing. Parks also has a selectman representative, so you guys don't, because your sole intent is to review applications, not, well, not your sole intent, you guys do planning, but.
Did you read these?
But yeah,
Alright, well, the next on the agenda is, there are the letters of intent for Jeff, Shane, and Natasha. We'll start with Jeff. Jeff, did you wanna stand up and tell us about yourself?
Yeah, I'll keep it short, I do the meetings. So, first of all, I appreciate your consideration of. Perhaps me being on the board with you. My background in Georgetown goes back pretty far. Me and Gary Lucas worked together for the USDA in 1978. And we've stayed in touch all these years. I've lived in Colorado 3 times. So Gary and me reconnected with Dan, and now I'm back in Georgetown. I've lived in Colorado 3 times. My background is both in real estate. I have a real estate license for the state of Colorado. And I've been in the landscape business as a business developer for a couple of large companies. So I thought this would be a good fit for me with the real estate and the landscape, and the fact of me living back in Georgetown and hooking up with my old friends. And if you have any questions, please ask.
Why do you wanna be on the commission?
Because I lived in Colorado almost 40 years, and I wanted to reconnect to the town of Georgetown. After 45 years, reconnected with Gary, which was pretty exciting because we don't see somebody for 45 years and all of a sudden you're his friend again.
That's cool.
It doesn't happen so many times in a lifetime.
Yeah.
Usually they're passed away.
Right,
So my connection in Colorado goes back to 1978. And like I said, I lived in Colorado 3 times and I feel this is where I want to be.
cool.
Chris, do you have any questions?
would you plan on leaving Colorado anytime in the near future?
No, I lived in New Orleans, I lived in Savannah, I lived in Pennsylvania, I lived in Colorado 3 times. I'm getting tired of moving. And it's funny because every time you move, you throw stuff away. Well, after you move to the new place, you're buying less stuff again. For instance, a barbecue. I've given away so many barbecues and now I had to buy a new barbecue again. And just stupid stuff. So moving to me is old. I've moved more than most people. But I've had the advantage of being in all different parts of the country, so I'm able to communicate with a lot of different people.
Are you currently employed, or are you retired, or are you?
I'm semi-employed, I work as an independent realtor, for the state of Colorado. You know, I'm in town, you probably see me with my dog Aspen all the time, so, I do work part-time, but I do have quite a bit of free time. My friends say I have too much free time now. I said, you know, you reach a point in your life in which you don't need to work to the end. And I didn't understand that when I was younger, but now I understand it. So I can always make time for things.
Okay. Anybody else? Alright, thanks, Jeff.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna give Shane some time if he decides to show up.
He's not gonna make it,
Oh,
so.
he's not? Okay, well, I will read Shane's letter of intent. Have y'all read this?
I have.
Y'all have it, okay. So it says, dear members of Georgetown Planning Commission, my name is Shane Henry. I live at 300 Tile Street in Georgetown. I am writing to formally express my interest in volunteering to serve on the Georgetown Planning Commission. With extensive professional experience in real estate, I have a strong understanding of land use, development processes, and the importance of thoughtful, sustainable community planning. My background has given me a deep appreciation for the unique character of Georgetown, and I am committed to helping preserve and enhance it for current and future residents. I believe the Planning Commission plays a vital role in shaping the long-term vision of our town, and I would be honored to contribute my knowledge, energy, and perspective to support that mission. My goal is to help ensure that future improvements are made with the best interests of our community in mind, balancing growth with historic preservation and quality of life. Thank you for considering me for your position. I welcome the opportunity to further discuss how I can contribute to the community and to the future success of the town of Georgetown. Sincerely, Shane Henry. And then, last but not least, we have Natasha.
Hello. Yeah, so a little bit about me is I moved here, September 2021. My husband was relocated to Frisco. This was just more affordable than Summit County. And I'm from a small town in Indiana myself. That's where I grew up, went to high school. Everyone knows everyone. Kind of what you were saying, like, I still have friends that I don't see for years and you just pick up where you left off as soon as you see them again. So that's what I kind of wanted. Moving out here is to have that community feel, but I used to be in a mortgage, so I helped sell homes. Now I work for the public defender's office, so I've kind of gotten to help people in our community who are facing jail time with criminal charges, stuff like that. So that really just kind of wanted me to get more involved in the community, having doing that job, being on the HOA board. So for me, I'm like outdoorsy. I love going on hikes. I have 2 small children. So seeing the futuristic aspects of what Georgetown could be really, of course, intrigues me, and definitely something I'm interested in seeing because we plan on staying here as long as possible. I mean, I've been at my job for 2 years and I don't plan on leaving that job either. So I just really am invested in making sure that Georgetown comes to its full capacity that it can go and all the potential that it has, but also just to make sure that all of the resources and amenities that we have are being to their fullest use.
What do you do with the you're a paralegal, correct? Or-
No, I'm the office manager.
Okay.
So I process applications and calculate income, make sure they can qualify for a service, then assign them to attorneys, file motions, close out cases. Basically from the start to finish, I'm involved in the case.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I do all the back end stuff too, like our expenses, I do PTO requests, paying our experts, doing transcripts, requests for court hearings, stuff like that. So all of the back end administrative things I do to help make sure that everyone gets paid. I'm involved in that too.
Lots of paperwork.
Lots of paperwork. Thankfully, a lot of stuff is electronically, available, so I don't have a lot of like paper, but yeah, it's a lot of steps, but I love it, like, especially knowing that we service Clear Creek County and sometimes I've run into clients, they're like, oh, hey, I don't know. So it's pretty cool, yeah. And I mean, just a small town is what I was striving to get to. Mountain small town is what I wanted, and so I'm just blessed to be here.
Do you have any questions?
No. Out of curiosity, what part of Indiana?
So, well, I met my husband there. We went to Indiana State University in Terre Haute, which is near Indianapolis.
Okay.
But he's from South Bend, where Notre Dame is, so that are Notre Dame fans, yeah.
I texted quite a bit during the chaos.
That's right. And, I mean, their blood is Notre Dame. So when I came into the family, I was a Michigan fan and I am no longer a Michigan fan.
Oh.
Like, I'm still like, I love Michigan, but they're like, we're gonna keep you as long as you come to Notre Dame. And I mean, of course, I love Notre Dame, who can't?
Chris?
No questions?
Okay, we're gonna ask you guys to step outside for a minute while we discuss everything and then we'll call you guys back in.
Sweet.
Okay.
Sound good?
Just a reminder that this is still recorded, so it's still public.
They can go back and watch it.
Yeah. They could also stay for two, but
What do you guys think?
I know Shane personally, so I would definitely put a vote in for Shane, Out of, Tasha and Jeff, I don't really know either of them, but, like that Natasha has job with is it a county job or
It's
city job,
it's a district
district?
public defender.
Yeah, so I kind of like that she's, a local employee.
Chris,
Um. I am kind of between. It's a hard decision between all three of them, honestly, because they all have great qualifications and, it's hard to make a decision, I would say. As far as Jeff, his availability, to volunteer, I think he would be a great candidate, because he seems like he has a lot of free time. And it seems like he could definitely, be present at the meetings and, continue everything and, so I would say my vote would kind of be for Jeff, because he seems like he has the most amount of free time and the most time to devote to the town.
remember, we have 2 seats to fill, and we can also make one of them an alternate.
Right.
And is that our goal is to fill both seats?
That's our goal,
Okay.
but we don't necessarily have to now, and again. I went out of my way to try to pull candidates and
Yeah, it's good.
some,
It's good to fill.
one of them dropped out, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is who we have right now, I mean, I'm not saying that we have to choose any of them or all of them.
Just a reminder, you guys make a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen,
Cool.
but they are the ones that will ultimately decide, so.
Yeah, which they've never not said no. Sure. But they've never said no to us so far.
I do think it's good. If all three of them are interested in being either permanent or an
Alternate.
alternate, to have a full. Or just if people are out, so we can always have a quorum. Not have to like skip a month's meeting because we don't have enough people.
So if we're gonna make all of them, put all of them on the board, then the question is, which 2 do we make board members and which one do we make an alternate?
I think my recommendation would be, Jeff and Natasha, mainly because they were both present tonight. So that shows that they kind of both have the devotion to make it to the meetings. And Jeff, or I'm sorry, excuse me, and
Shane.
then Shane would be my recommendation for an alternate.
What about you guys?
I'm for Shane as a full-time member. And since they're both here, maybe we ask them to come back. Would either of you have any problem committing to the meetings or? When I came on, that was my thing, was like I volunteered to be the alternate.
Yeah, I know, I remember that.
So I don't, maybe one of them doesn't have any preference,
Yeah, we could ask them if either of them chooses to be an alternate. I like that idea.
I'm cool with that. I mean, it's often that one of us is not here.
Right.
Yeah,
They might vote as a regular member.
So it's with one of them being whoever the alternate is. Likely they will be involved.
Kathy could resign tomorrow and
In the
we could have
meetings.
right, they could end up being a permanent member, who knows? So,
Yeah, I think we could ask them, and then if no one has a preference, I do think that we should have maybe we could have an answer. We could choose as who the alternate would. Yeah. Right now, before we were.
If they don't vote,
What we would recommend to the board.
yeah, if they don't.
It does put them in kind of an uncomfortable spot, I think, to ask them,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, we can say, here's the situation, if we want all three, but we need one alternate.
Are you interested in being an alternate?
Yeah, since you
well, if
two
they don't
are,
wanna be an alternate, when we say that we're gonna make you an alternate, they say no, that's that. We don't have to put them on the spot,
yeah, I mean,
but we can do whatever you guys want
if
to do.
all three of them were here, I'd ask all three of them the same question.
Right.
But
Yeah.
only two groups.
I'm for Natasha and Shane, but that's my opinion, so. Are we ready to call them back in? We can just vote,
Sure.
do you wanna go get them or?
Sure.
Yeah, I'll do it.
She gotta go.
Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Keisha.
Or anything illegal on.
We didn't vote on, there's some fill a seat.
First,
Yeah,
it's not Shane, we can say here's the situation, like if Shane doesn't.
well, he's not here, I don't think we should vote on him first.
Uh,
Yeah, my first vote would be Jeff.
Okay.
You're like in school,
right,
like a school thing.
welcome back.
Okay, we're gonna vote on Jeff first, Jeff Goldman. Do I have a motion to make Jeff Goldman a permanent member of the planning commission?
A second.
You have to make a motion.
Oh, I'm on that.
Not a second.
Well, I.
You can ask questions.
No, that nothing is,
We're just voting right now, but.
got it.
Go ahead.
So is our plan to make Shane the alternate? Was that what we were gonna discuss? So here's the deal, we have 2 empty seats, and there's 3 people who have applied. It's just, like Christian, for example, when he got, what came onto the board, was an alternate at first. So. And then somebody dropped off the board, he was an alternate, he moved on to the board. Also, Christian being an alternate. If somebody who isn't available on the board, they would come and they would participate in the meeting as an active member. If everyone's here and you're the alternate, you wouldn't be part of the.
You would be a voting party.
You would be a voting member. So,
To add to that, whenever there was 2 of us and there was 1 seat, and I said I will volunteer to be the alternate for now. And so,
yeah,
what we can say, we need 3 people, but we need 2 permanent and 1 alternate. And so that's kind of what we're trying to figure out is, of the 3 of you, who do we want who wants to be permanent, who's gonna be the alternate?
do you, like, and I apologize if this is awkward, do either of you have interest in being an alternate, or would you, if it would be your first choice, would it be to be on
A full-time.
a full-time commission member, voting every time? And it's often somebody isn't here. 1 of the 6 of us isn't here, or 7, and if that was the case, you chose the meeting, you would be a voting member. And it's completely appropriate to say, yeah, I would like to be a voting member full time.
Yeah, that would be my preference, but I'm open to being an alternate as well, but really.
I am too, but if I might say something else, I was talking to her outside. Being a small town Georgetown is, the 3 people that gave credentials all seem to be very strong. Believe me, I wouldn't say that if I didn't mean it. And in a small town, I mean, why can't we just put our heads together? And I see empty chairs here, why can't we all work?
Yeah, it's
That's
just that,
what, I think that's valid,
So, I
what I'm
mean,
saying.
It's right, no,
We-
we're
we
gonna
have-
put 2 of you on the board, but 1 of you will end up being an alternate.
But I think the more minds, the better.
So the thing about commissions are, they are laid out in code. There's a certain number of seats in code. We can't just add full-time members to code. You guys are a commission that makes really serious decisions on applications for people who are making decisions about their life and their land here. We can't be frivolous with that. We have to follow the law. So there's 7 seats and you can have as many alternates as you want actually, but there are 7 voting seats.
There used to be 5 when I came onto the board, I moved the board back to 7.
The.
So there's 1 alternate or is an alternate to the alternate?
No,
there can be multiple
Yeah.
alternates.
Yeah, we can have.
Who are all of. Who participate in the meetings, but they won't have a vote,
Right.
if everyone is present.
Which often is not the case, so our alternate would frequently get to vote.
Yeah, it also helps get a quorum, it's like, you have to have 5, right?
You have to have 4.
4,
Yeah,
okay.
we have 4 to 7.
Yeah, so it just enables us to conduct business and not have to push off to the next month, we have other people.
Where's the quorum then, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be open for either one. I mean, I'm not here to, you know,
Yeah,
this is Georgetown, this is not Denver.
Yeah.
I hear butt heads with anybody.
Yeah, that's an alternate, I mean, you can attend,
Whatever I can add to the committee, that's fine.
you can attend every
We appreciate
meeting as
that.
well, so.
Yeah.
You're very
We
welcome.
also, the planning commission will be working on the comprehensive plan next year. So that's an exciting project that wouldn't necessarily be voting every time. It'd be working with a consultant and talking to them about Georgetown, working on projects that are evaluating things in town. So there are projects for the planning commission that are also not voting that you would be a full participant in, so.
Okay. So, again, do I have a motion to make Jeff Goldman a permanent member of the planning commission?
I motion that.
Do I have a second?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Nay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's, what are we doing in case of a tie?
The vote fails.
Okay. We'll go back to this as an alternate. We're gonna move on with the rest of the votes. Shane Henry. Do I have a motion to make Shane Henry a permanent member?
Motion?
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, motion passes. Do I have a motion to make Natasha Jackson a permanent member of the planning commission?
I second.
You have to make a motion.
Oh, sorry, I motion to make Natasha, what's your last name?
Jackson.
Jackson. A full-time member.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Do I have a motion to make? Sorry, I keep forgetting your name, Jeff Goldman, a alternate of the Georgetown Planning Commission.
I motion to make Jeff Golden, sorry, is that right?
Yeah,
I.
sorry, I didn't hear your packet.
No, it's okay.
Sounds like a name from-
An alternate for the planning commission.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion
Oh,
passes.
wait, was that an I or a?
Nay.
Okay, alright.
So you oppose?
I oppose.
Okay, motion passes 3-1. So Jeff is waiting.
Never mind, it's okay.
Do you need to write that down?
I'll remember.
So you're now an alternate, well, the board of selectmen will go to board of selectmen the end of the month? Or the first of next one?
It won't be this coming meeting, it'll be the first meeting in June, which is the 10th.
Okay, so, and then we don't have our meeting until after that. So if they approve everything, y'all will be members of the board, permanently, all of you.
So there is a meeting the third Wednesday of July then?
Yes.
Okay,
Well,
Unless it gets
assuming we have-
canceled.
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
So this commission meets, we are trying to establish, and now that I have my regular job back, we might get back to the comprehensive plan review. We were trying to have meetings regularly, even if there's no applicants on the agenda to discuss and review the comprehensive plan. We started that process. We did 2 sections of it. There's a couple more sections we still need to review. And, but frequently when there are no applicants, the board will decide to cancel the meeting because everyone has lives, so.
Yeah,
And then the board of selectmen is every second and fourth Tuesday.
Correct.
No, you have one for June, right? Next,
do it.
we do have a planning committee meeting in June, right?
Oh, yeah, you said July, but there's a planning commission meeting.
Say June.
Yeah.
June.
Yes, it's,
What was
this
the-
this meeting is every third Wednesday at 6 P M. Yeah. Mhm.
Did you wanna look at this? The minutes from last meeting?
Yeah.
That's the last thing on the agenda is the approval of minutes for March 19th, 2025. Has everybody read those, gone over them?
Yeah.
Anybody have an issue?
No.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes for the planning commission's meeting from March 19th, 2025?
I motion to approve the minutes for the meeting from March 2025,
Next, you
19th.
have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All right, motion passes. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Can I ask a question?
Oh, sure, go ahead.
So if there's a time where like, sometimes when we're working in Summit, it's hard to get over here, is there a way to appear like on video or something?
Yes.
That's why I asked the same question.
Oh, okay.
Same
Yeah.
question.
Zoom is totally appropriate. We do encourage you to be here in person.
Cool, okay.
If you're on vacation, we don't encourage you to attend. Unless you absolutely want to.
Don't cancel the vacation.
That's why we have an alternate.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that will be fully staffed, so it's great.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you
you.
guys for volunteering. It really is a
No, no,
very
it's-
important, this is a really important commission. For the comprehensive plan review, but also, you know, you're making decisions about. Like, if people can divide their lot and like changes to square footage, ordinance reviews, you know, there's like real ramifications for the decisions that this board makes. In people's lives, you know, if they had decided to vote against, you know, and you're obligated to follow code, you're interpreting code, so you can't just. Make,
Follow your heart.
yeah, as much as we'd like to sometimes. Yes. Yeah, but you know, there are situations where if you deny someone a special use permit or something. That changes their whole life plan potentially, so, you know, it's important work.
I saw the design discussion last night at Cabin Creek.
Yeah,
Did you go to that?
Yeah, I
thank you
did.
for your public comment, I saw this.
I wanted to go, but I didn't get a chance. I was
No,
busy.
it was really good. I was impressed with the designs that they have and I was like, just, I don't know, just making Georgetown like pop a little more than, I was like, and I'm like, I'm not telling my children about those playgrounds and.
Yeah, wait till they're real, so.
Oh, yeah,
Which-
they're already gonna be asking me.
Well, the Parks Commission, a lot of them are dreams, but
Yeah, they're
a
dreams,
long-term
yeah.
Let
plans,
me
you
get a
know.
adjourn meeting for.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, sorry.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Okay, now we can continue. Now there's somebody that's saying it again.
Yeah, so a lot of it was just like upgrades to like Triangle Park and Meadows and things like that, but some things like we're currently doing a request for proposal. For fencing, in Meadows and Greenway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, the linear park that the Bighorn Development is working on.
That's gonna be really cool.
Yeah,
Yes,
and that's privately funded, so that's gonna be, and they're also,
There's a lot of that in the FEMA flood zone. It's right next to the lake. They're doing that playground there, correct?
they're building some rock formations.
Yeah.
We're doing a workout center, a
The workout center got nixed actually.
Really?
So, yeah,
bummer.
Oh,
What about
that's a
what about the pavilion? Did that get next?
Obviously, they need to take into consideration all the flood zone.
An amphitheater.
yeah, that one is gonna be, so there's sort of 3 phases of that park. The first one we're calling the linear park. And the linear park is gonna be, you know, there are some like seating areas and there's gonna be. Some places for kids to play. We're not totally sure what those structures are looking like, but they're talking about like boulders for kids to sort of run around on. And then some like, you know,
Why did the workout center get mixed?
the funding fell through on it, so. And then the second phase is there's a dog park going in on the south side of that project. And then the third phase, and this is. We haven't run this by the public yet. We want to because an amphitheater would make a big difference.
Yeah, they were
for people
talking
who
about
live down
the
there.
amphitheater, yeah.
So there is a concept for an amphitheater. I'm not sure how that will pan
It's
out.
on the blueprints, well, they're not blueprints, they're.
They have like designs for
Yeah.
it, yes,
So I said that would be an
Preliminary
amazing
designs.
idea.
yeah.
Because they were talking about having like events and I said, well, if you allow people to rent it and reserve it for a fee or whatever.
Mhm.
Like I would do my vow renewal there,
Well, you
right?
know,
Right.
Craig really wants the amphitheater.
Yeah,
I do
but
too.
there has been pushback from the people who live by the lake.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah, especially with the way the canyon echoes, they're like, we don't know if we want amplified sound outdoors here.
Right, and
It
that
doesn't
was
necessarily
something
have to be amplified.
Right, it
It
doesn't,
could
so
be
that's part of
acoustic.
the discussion is like, maybe we do. like,
And I mean.
Yeah,
You can issue permits, I mean, Cabin Creek has a permit for amplified sound, don't they?
So amplified sound permits are required when it's projecting onto a public right of way, so they project onto their own patio, so they don't have to do an amplified sound permit.
My biggest thing about the amphitheater down there is if they schedule an event and then that day it happens to be 100-mile-an-hour winds down by the way.
The other thing,
This could happen any day.
Yeah.
right.
the other big concern with that amphitheater space is if we have events down there, where are people gonna park?
Yeah.
There's, you know, the parking is something we wanna get worked out.
Right.
So that one is a concept still very much in planning phases and needs to have some community outreach and seeing what the people down there are interested in doing.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what it ends up as,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
even
you never
a small
really-
stage or something.
Right.
Not even like a huge theater.
Yeah.
Someone
And it, you know, it could end up being, Creighton was sort of talking about it being kind of a, like an open, like a space where you could have a performance, but also you could have yoga classes or.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that concept a little better. I think, cause I mean, I don't want the amphitheater to kind of like block any of the views that you have there too, so.
Mhm.
that'd be
Parking point's a good one too, because like the hockey tournament,
Mhm.
the parking is where the new development is going to be.
Yeah,
And that leaves you with a lot,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's gonna be tricky.
Mhm.
and you don't wanna not keep doing pond hockey, you know?
Right, well, and the parking lots on the lake, we share with the ice drivers that weekend
Mhm.
too. So, they take up half those lots and then we only have half of the lake lots for the
Yeah.
hockey tournament. And there are some solutions that we have employed the first year and this year with like having people park up at the loop train lot and shuttling them down, having people stay at what's the camp down the road?
Oh, yeah.
Easter Field, yeah, and then having them shut up, so, Craig was sort of talking about getting a block of hotel rooms in Central City. Shuttling people in from there,
Yeah, the parking down by the motel fills up pretty quick.
Yeah.
yeah, so, there's solutions to need more parking.
Sales is very good.
I was gonna just
The
say
event-
that, I was gonna say that right across from.
Gotta be
my condo.
controlled.
Yeah,
Right,
that is-
so the event
Otherwise, it's gonna be
parking,
a madhouse.
well, Colorado Pond Hockey is very good at parking management, it's really one of the things they're very professional and strong
You
about.
gotta figure all the out of towners too,
Mhm.
The added what?
Out of town.
out of towners.
So that's every weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always something.
People that live there, people who live there understand, the people driving up may not understand.
Mm-hmm.
And
Without parking lot right across from the condo, so I stayed in Fairfield condos.
Yeah.
we're gonna go.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
Welcome to the planning commission.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thanks for helping you guys.
Yeah, what's up?
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Take care. Who's this? Oh, I was trying to keep writing one spot.
Like murder mysteries.
Okay, I was like, you. What's your name?
Christian, I was calling my phone.
Yeah.
I had pointing my phone, so it was like.
So-
And you back.
Thank you. I was like, I'm like, God, what's the next instructions on here? I was like,
That was so fun.
I'm not gonna write you this about semantics, but I want to, first one, I sped up.
Jamie, yeah.
She's like, I think I'm supposed to be, I was like, I don't know, let's watch slow down. Consider the song.
Really?
Yeah.